you're probably memorizing beta blockers wrong. Here's the one simple story you actually need to know for your exam. Alright, so let's just toss those dense textbooks aside for a minute, okay? We're gonna step into a different kind of guide, an alchemist's guide. And here we learn through a story. Okay, first things first, we gotta understand the castle's alarm system. Now, in our bodies, this is called the Adrenergic System. But for our story, just picture it all happening inside this grand castle of Corpus. So, think of the Adrenergic System as the castle's fight or flight alarm. It's that big red button. When a threat pops up, whether it's a dragon or, let's be real, a super stressful exam, this alarm goes off and the whole fortress prepares for action, instantly. All right, so the castle is on high alert. Makes sense. But here's the thing, an alarm doesn't just sound itself, right? And that brings us to a really key character in our story, the valiant Watchman. Let me introduce you to Norepinephrine. In our story, he's our valiant Watchman. He's the guy always scanning the horizon for danger. In the real world, in pharmacology, norepinephrine is a super important chemical messenger. So check this out. The second our Watchman, Norepinephrine, spots a threat, he doesn't mess around. He sprints to the watchtowers and starts ringing those alarm bells like crazy. This direct action, making a physiological response happen, is exactly what an agonist does. The bottom line, an agonist makes things happen. So the Watchman is ringing the bells. Got it. But these aren't just any old bells. Let's get a closer look at the great alarm bells of our castle, because these represent our pharmacological receptors. Now, this castle has a few different kinds of alarm bells, but for today, we're going to zero in on the two most important ones, the beta bells. These are our beta receptors, and as you can see, they're in totally different towers for very different reasons. And listen, this part is absolutely critical. Ringing the beta 1 bell, the one in the castle's engine room, the heart, it makes that engine pump way faster and a lot harder. At the exact same time, ringing the beta 2 bell in the castle's corridors, the lungs, widens them right up so the guards can move freely. The whole system is all about one thing, being ready for battle. This whole battle-ready state is super effective, for sure. But it kind of begs a question, doesn't it? What happens if that alarm is just too loud, or if it rings for way too long? Yeah, a castle just can't stay on high alert forever. It's not sustainable. That constant stress, it leads to damage, to burnout. So when the alarm itself becomes the problem, the castle needs an intervention, and that is when the wise mage arrives. So, to bring back some balance, a new character walks onto the scene. Meet the wise mage. This is our beta blocker. He's the force of calm in all this chaos. Now, what's cool is the wise mage doesn't just go and smash the bells. No, he's way smarter than that. He uses this really clever tool to control them. He just walks up to those clanging bells and places a magical muffler over them. The sound gets quieted, but it's not totally silenced. And that action, that simple act of muffling the bell, it's the perfect way to understand our next key term, an antagonist. See, while the agonist starts an action, the antagonist, well, as you can see, it's a substance that gets in the way. It inhibits it. It's not destroying the bell, it's just stopping it from ringing so dang loudly. And this brings us right to our final lesson, where everything just clicks into place. The antagonist, our mage, he blocks the action. By putting that muffler on the beta 1 bell, he calms the heart's frantic pounding. And that is exactly how beta blockers work to treat things like high blood pressure. Okay, let's put it all together with our cast of characters. Just look at this table. Our valiant Watchman, he's the agonist, the one who rings the alarm. The wise mage, he's the antagonist, the one who muffles it. And the beta 1 and beta 2 bells are the receptors in the heart and lungs. That's it. This simple story is your key. It really is that simple. The Watchman activates, the mage calms. Agonist versus antagonist. If you can just understand this story, you'll absolutely master the pharmacology. So please, use this story as your mental model. It works. But as you're gearing up for your exams, I want to leave you with one final thought, a little cliffhanger, if you will. Now that you know how the wise mage muffles the bells, what happens if you need a mage that only muffles the heart bell and leaves the lung bell completely alone? Well, that's the next chapter in our story, selective versus non-selective beta blockers. Something to chew on for your next study session.